start the video. Iswandi is the other person is Iswandi. Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to this session, which is actually the second session for the series that we have for this training. Can you hear me clearly over the other side? Okay, good. Okay, loud and clear, fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so today physically we have two colleagues here. Yeah, Anwar and Zamiro over here. But later we might be able to kind of like communicate and talk to each other. Right. Today's session is going to be a one full day session. I hope you are all geared up and ready for it. Yeah. It's going to be a long session, but basically what I have planned for you is the second half of the session will be a lot on hands-on. So I hope you have got the email from Hazim, who has already asked you to sign up for the Prezi basic account, and then we'll go to the link that will give you the 90-day free upgrade to the Edu Plus account. Have you all of you done that already? Yes. Yes. Okay. Right. Those did you manage to get the free upgrade already? Because it usually requires like 7 to 10 days for Prezi to upgrade your basic account to the Edu Plus. So have you checked if you have received the upgrade? If you have not, it's okay, no worries. You can still, follow the session today. Okay, it's just that the upgrade account will allow you to have more features, just like any other apps that we have, right? There is always the free version and there is always the paid version. So for the paid version, you will see that there are some additional features. Yeah, you're more free to do many things compared to the free basic account. Okay, all right. But for today's session, even if you just have the basic version, which is not upgraded yet, you still can follow. Perhaps then when you get your upgrade already, then you will be able to kind of like practice and play around for 90 days for free. Okay, so are you ready? For those who have joined my training session a couple of times, you will realize that I have been using Prezi for a while. Yeah, I think some of you did ask me before, what application am I using? It's actually Prezi. So what you see today here is also Prezi, and I'm also wearing Prezi t-shirt contributed by them when I was certified as a trainer. So it's my first time wearing it actually. It's my first time running a training session officially as a certified trainer. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you today is practically what I've gone through in my training for about like close to a month. It was like kind of like a self-paced kind of thing or so, but I'm going to share with you in one day. Okay, so well, I'm not really hoping that you will get everything in today because honestly, I myself also, for me to really understand and how to use it easily, okay, it takes some practice. Just like anything that we do, practice. Okay, we need to have some practice playing around with the app, and that's how you get to know how to use it. So Prezi has actually improved tremendously over the years. I started using Prezi in 2015, I think. 2015, 2016, I started using Prezi. Back then, I think Prezi is, if you have seen some presentation before, it's like, you know, people say zoom here, zoom there, fly here, fly there kind of thing. But Prezi has, they are still having that same principle of you zoom in here, zoom in there, and fly there, but they have improved tremendously. As you will see later on, the greatness that, you know, the magic that can happen simply and easily with just your computer and you. Okay, all right. So let's say something. Oh, okay, yeah, has it. Yeah, I think the other day Stephanie also said that. I hope Stephanie you managed to register in the end, right? I guess if you're probably using the institution network, it's blocked. Okay, so you might need to try and use your own personal one. Okay, without further ado, let's start. Yeah, I'm going to try to remember that I can actually touch the screen here. Okay, so today's learning outcomes, although the session is a whole day's long session, but there are only 2 learning outcomes that we are looking at, okay? I hope that at the end of today's session, or maybe at least until halfway, you should be able to describe the elements of an engaging video. What does it mean by engaging video? Okay. And secondly is to produce engaging instructional videos using Prezi. Okay. I did a similar workshop last year, okay, but it wasn't using Prezi. So I am actually not too sure if any one of you joined the same session, but it was only a 2-hour session last year when I did it. I'm not sure whether you have joined it before or not, but the applications that I shared in last year's session is different, okay, from today's session. Today's one is really about using Prezi, which I find that it's even easier compared to the method that I taught last year. All right. So let's move on, yeah? So what's up today? This is the itinerary that I have planned out for you. Like I said, in the morning, we will look at mostly you might find it a bit of a dry part, but it's more of like laying the foundation and understanding the use of videos, why videos, and all that pedagogical, you know, background surrounding the use of videos, so that you understand why you are making videos more. Those who have joined me last week, we talked about building online courses, and I did mention that when you build online courses, videos is your, do you remember what structure in terms of the construction term? Those who joined me last week, do you remember when I shared with you what is it? The foundation layer is your substructure or superstructure. Anyone can remember? Forgotten already, or you are trying to go back to last week's Prezi notes to find out the construction analogy, yes? Yeah. So we have the first part, which is the planning, right? So the second one is laying the foundation. It's actually the substructure. Okay, substructure. So videos are sort of like a substructure of your online course. If there is no video in your online course, it is basically just dumping things inside, and eventually, if you have no foundation, everything will just fall, kind of thing. Okay, all right. And basically, if you don't have videos, then you will find that your course is not engaging. You're not really reaching out to your students. Okay, so that is why videos are really important when it comes to building online courses. Yeah, okay. So we will have a break at 10:45 for 15 minutes. Okay, then at 12:30, we hope to go for our lunch for 1 hour. Then we come back, and then 3:30, we will have another break. 4:45, we will do the closing. Hopefully, yeah. Okay. Oh, today I forgot it's a prayer for you all. So 12:30, that means you will come back slightly later. It's okay. No problem. I will be able to just chat with you after that. Right. Before we begin, I'd like you to scan this QR code here and answer 2 questions. Okay, just to kind of like see how you're feeling and all that. Just go to. Sorry, I need to go back for those who are. Okay. Right, I see some of you already responding. Okay. I have like 83% excited. Okay, that's good. Yeah, 17% stressed. My God, no stress, yeah. Today is Friday, okay? Relax. But I'm glad to see that 83% are actually excited about making these instructional videos. Okay, one more question. In your opinion, what is the biggest challenge when it comes to making an instructional video? So if you did not close your Mentimeter just now, you should be able to see the next question that pops up. Okay. So we have a few things here. Camera quality, camera shy, the skill, the time, creativity seems to be standing out. There's also another one who mentioned lack of creativity, so it's put together. Video clarity, okay. So the camera shy, kind of like related to confidence as well, yeah. Content is like to information, internet connection. Yeah, sometimes it's a bit of a problem, I know. Okay, interesting. Yeah, your interesting here means trying to make your video interesting, I believe, yeah. So what I see stands out here a lot is about creativity, the skill, the time. Okay, so in terms of creativity, I think you will realize later today as I share with you, in terms of Prezi, there are a lot of available templates. Yeah, that will kind of like help you in terms of creativity. But it's just about you yourself, you need to know which template to use and how to use it. Obviously, that goes to the skill. Okay, so the skill part is also the reason why you are here today, right? To learn how to make videos. Time. As I mentioned earlier, when it comes to time, when you start to learn something, time is always something that you need to invest at the beginning. But as you learn better and you get more familiar with the features in the app, you will find that it's much easier already. Okay, just like anything that we learn in life, isn't it? When we start learning, very difficult, takes a lot of time. But over the years, you get faster and faster in doing it. Okay, so even personally, when I started using Prezi in 2015, I was also very, in the name would say, kelam kabut lah, you know, yeah. Because the thing is, it doesn't, I won't say it's very different from PowerPoint. Okay, it still has got the idea of slides. Okay, like you see in PowerPoint, the slide. But it's just that you have to understand the principle behind Prezi. Why is it like that? Okay, and that's how it sets itself apart from PowerPoint. And that is how the outcome of the presentation is different from PowerPoint. Okay, so once you understand that principle behind it, then you will be able to kind of like understand, oh, why is it like this, and how is it that this one move here and move there and move here. Okay, so it's just about getting a hang of it, getting the idea, and after that, you will seamlessly be able to use it. So when I used it in 2015, I also self-learned. So it was a bit of like a mess for me also, yeah. And then after that, I think in 2019 or what? I think so. In 2019, 2020, that's when they started to introduce the new version of Prezi. And I myself also find it like, again, I got to start learning a little bit again, you know, because the way they have put the features and all is slightly different from the old one. Yeah, and also the way it works is slightly different from the older one. So again, it took me a bit of a time to learn how to use it again. But I would say comparing to the time when I started like using the new version, 2018-19 or somewhere there, to now, I said that I'm much faster to build a presentation now compared to previously. Okay, all right. So when it comes to the template afterwards, you will also see that they have put down as like a different level of difficulty. So if you are new to it, perhaps you want to choose the template which is more basic, rather than the one that is more requires more skills. To start with the simpler one so that you get the concept first. All right. Okay, great. In terms of camera shy, confident, all this, my advice is to practice. Over time, you will feel more confident in front of the camera. So later, I'm going to show you some videos that I did before, long time ago. Yeah. And when I watch it back, you know, I also noticed myself changing over the years. At the beginning, I had many takes because I wasn't confident with my face, my voice, my effort, everything, you know, you tend to be so critical of it. But over the years, you just get better. Okay. The other thing about trying to overcome, you know, this camera shy confidence thing and all, is basically just to relax. Something that we will talk about afterwards as well. Okay? So thank you very much for your feedback on this. We shall see at the end of the session today how you feel, yeah? So let's go back to presentation here. Okay. So let's start, yeah, with blended learning. Everybody is familiar with this term, right? Yeah, okay. And then after, since the pandemic, we moved into 100% online learning. So now what's the difference between blended learning and the online facilitation that we have now? Does it have a difference? The term blended learning. What is blended learning? Anybody? Anwar?
Mix up with the traditional part, with the online method.
Mix the traditional as in the classroom physical and online. Online, anything that is online.
More towards the activity in the classroom using online.
Okay. All right. So that means you carry out your face-to-face class in a physical space and then students do some activities online. Okay. Right, that's right. Okay. That's the term that we have always been understanding, the concept of blended learning. Okay. So that's really the term that we have been the concept that we have been practicing pre-COVID, right? But then when COVID happens, we did 100% online. So what happens? Do you still do blended because it's 100% online already?
Yeah. It's when many tools in the online platform.
Many tools in the online platform. So then the what about the just now you said because COVID, right? No face-to-face and how?
So face-to-face changed to the still face-to-face, but in a virtual meeting with the students.
Virtual meeting already, yeah. So then it becomes very much of an online facilitation, right? So that's why going back to my subtopic here, blended and online facilitation. Okay. What's the difference? And as we move forward now that we are coming to the endemic and slowly moving back to some physical classes, right? So then we talk about what's the new blend. When we talk about what's the new blend, maybe some of you might think of your favorite drink. Yeah, is it Emily's favorite drink? Coffee. I have my coffee here. Yeah, we talk about Frappuccino is also blending. So what kind of a new flavor are we talking about? What kind of blend are we talking about as we move forward? Are we still going to do what we did last time? Go back to pre-COVID, the blended learning? Are we going to continue doing what we were doing during the COVID time? So if you were to go online to read, okay, and even any literature, a lot of scholars are saying that the new blend is actually a mixture of what we have done pre-COVID and what we have been doing during the COVID. Okay, it is really impossible for us to go back to before. Not only that it is impossible, but because this whole COVID thing has shown us so many possibilities and so many positive outcomes as well. Okay, we are now thinking about how we can bring all these good things and create a better blend. Okay, so these are taken from abroad, of course, yeah. But even locally, our scholars are saying that no, we are not going back to the traditional way of blending. Okay, but this person here is saying a hybrid blended learning. What term are we going to use? At the moment right now, there is still no fixed name yet. Okay, no fixed name yet. There has been all sorts of names. This person here is naming it as a hybrid blended learning. Hybrid as in what I'm doing now, online and also physical, but also blended, as in there are many online tools that we are using. Okay, so it's really a mixture of everything. And this person also strongly says that no, we are not going back to having like 300 or 1,000 students in the lecture hall. Now, with the ease of technology, with the things around us, do we really still need to deliver a lecture, 3-hour lecture in a lecture hall to 300 to 1,000 students? Secondly, is that actually effective or not? And this question is more important than ever. Delivering a lecture in a big lecture hall to 300 to 1,000 students, yeah, over a long period of time, whether it's 1 hour, 2 hour, or 3 hour, is that actually effective? What could be a more effective way of presenting a lecture? What do you think? What do you think is a more effective way of presenting a lecture? So I have some who says here, give some comments. I'm still trying to learn to use this board here. Not seem to do this. Never mind, okay. Okay. Right, so Stephanie mentioned various activities to enhance engagement, right? New normal blended learning. That's the term you want to suggest, Bridget? Okay. It's a new norm. Just then go in front of them. Right, Johan, depends on individual programs. You're right too. Now, I'm not saying here that everything can be done online, yeah. Okay, I do understand that many of you come from different disciplines and all. Okay, there are some things that you still have to do it practical, face to face. But what I'm saying is, for lecture, for theoretical kind of lecture, what is a better way of doing it now that we have so many different technologies around it? Do we need to still stand and deliver a lecture, a long lecture to physical students? Having them cram all together in a space, especially now with this thing that is still going on, even though that, yeah, we understand we are vaccinated and all, yet we are still spreading the virus and all, right? How do we kind of like observe SOP while yet we need to deliver to like 300 students? What could be the best way?
Hybrid.
Hybrid, okay, right? Another way of hybrid, if you don't do it like hybrid, I have to be present, right? What if I don't do it at what you call live? We also should consider, even at the moment right now, we have some students in different countries where the time is different. I have students who are, where was she at already? I can't remember. Is it Maldives, I think? In order for her to get up for a 9 o'clock class here, she has to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So as we, develop in our education, reaching out to more students internationally, can we do, is live hybrid like this a solution, or what could be a better solution? So Stephanie here is saying, chunk it and utilize videos pre-recorded. Johan says, prepare a brand new blend. Yes. Johan, I suggest, I will wait for the suggestion from you for a new name for the new blend. Yes, Stephanie, you're right. Chunk it and make videos, okay? And have it online so that students can watch it at their own time, their own pace. And the beauty of having all these pre-recorded videos is also good for students who are not able to understand you the first time you say it. they can rewatch. Okay, so last time we used to, not last time, we still are talking about knowing how to differentiate our learning strategies and instructions for different students. Because we have to understand that our students, they come from different backgrounds, different prior knowledge, different expectations, different learning abilities, different learning pace. Okay, so all this while we know that, yeah, we realize that there are these challenges here. But how is it possible for a lecturer or a teacher to differentiate, you know, to a group of like 300 over students? It's difficult, right? So now that you do it, let's say in a pre-recorded manner, you will be able to reach out to students in different ways. So students who are slower, they can watch the video again. Okay, students who are faster, they can go faster, watch, and then complete the activity. So now with technology, it is possible to bridge all these gaps that we have in education. And hopefully we can reach out to more students, yeah, so that we can provide quality education to all. Okay. Yes, very good, Aisha, right? That's right. Different attitude as well. Yes, definitely different attitude. True. Okay, can't do live, but different time to listen again. That's right. Okay, right. So now you know that video is really important. Yeah. Okay. And by that video, one of the things that was mentioned just now, Stephanie said to chunk it. When we talk about recording videos, it's not about recording 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour video. We need to chunk it. Imagine if I were to ask you to watch a video lecture of 1 hour, 2 hours, will you be able to watch? Cannot, yeah, you fall asleep, right? And you skip, don't know what the lecturer is talking about. So you need to chunk it, okay? Chunk it, you need to make it short. How to do that, we will talk about it later, okay? So please do bear in mind, when we talk about making videos, it's not about just recording yourself, talk 1 hour and then post and expect your students to watch it, because that's not going to work. Okay, all right? So next, before we move into talking about more videos, let's take a step back into the pedagogical part. Okay, I'd like to introduce you to the ISTE standards. Do you know what's ISTE standards? Anybody heard of it before? No? Okay, so just to let you know, ISTE standards, there are many standards. What I'm going to focus today is just for the educators. Okay, there is standards for learners, standards for coaches, standards for leaders, all sorts. Okay, but we're just going to focus on educators. And in these standards here, they have educators as leader, educators as learner, leader, citizen, collaborator, designer, facilitator, and analyst. So what I want you to do is, I'm going to give you some time. Okay, I'd like you to go to this this website here. I will post the link into the chat. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Right, we will take you to this page here. So I'd like you to read the standards for educator. Okay, so so for each one you will have this plus sign here. You can actually expand it for the sub of this standard for learner. Okay, so what I want you to do is to go through this. I'll give you time to go through this and then answer these questions here. Okay, so these are the questions here. I'd like you to reflect on which of the ISTE standards, that one is now learner, collaborator, leader, and so on, right? That resonates with you the most in terms of your practice as an educator. How you run your classroom, how you, what is your teaching and learning philosophy, and so on, okay? Then I'd like you to share with us a snapshot of your classroom. It's up to you, yeah. You can use the text, okay, put in the chat, yeah, or you want to share a screen, show us a picture of how your classroom looks like, okay. It's up to you how you want to demonstrate to us any of the standards that you mentioned, okay, all right. And the third one is, I'd like you to talk about how might instructional videos fit into a project or your classroom practice and culture. So this third question is actually very broad. I just want you to think about, in terms of videos, how can you use videos in your classroom? Need not necessarily only be for you as the teacher, but it could be for your students also, okay? Or think about yourself as maybe somebody in the department. You are a program leader, or it could be an administrator or something, okay? How you could use videos to help you in that role. So it's kind of broad. Yeah, it's kind of broad, yeah. You turn on my mic. You have to
Okay.
mute yourself. Okay, all right. Okay, are you clear with the instructions here? It's just for today's practice only, Bridget. It's not that something that UOW is adopting or what. Okay, it's just for today's reflection. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on the instructions or not? You're okay, yeah? All right. So I'll give you 5 minutes to think about it. And then after that, we will share. You can share by typing your responses in the chat, or just feel free to turn on your camera and turn on your mic and speak. Okay? All right, so I'll put on the timer now. 5 minutes, yeah. You managed to get the link to the IC. Okay, you have about 30 seconds more. Okay, thanks up. Right. Anyone want to share and start? You want to start? Anyone? Oh, okay. Johan has shared something here. Okay. Johan, you want to turn on your mic to explain a little bit? Yes.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Johan.
All right. I guess I'll take the first part of it, I guess.
Okay. Go ahead. So I'm sharing your picture here.
All right. So that is my classroom.
Uh-huh. Nice.
So not your typical, chalk and board, table and chairs type of classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Very commercial-ish, I would say. In terms of the standards, I would say more of a learner slash facilitated type, I would say.
Mm-hmm. So
And
yes.
and let me see what is the question again.
So you think that you are more of a learner facilitator type of educator. So
Yes.
how would you think videos can be used in your practice then, or in whatever roles that you are playing?
Okay, so we've been really struggling with this in terms of creating content for videos, especially for our kitchen classes. It's not easy due to the entire setup of the kitchen, I would say. You have really loud, blaring exhaust fans. Uh, it's very noisy in the kitchen, yeah. So when we try to do, you really have to be creative, you can't just record if you're just on the phone. You can get decent quality content, I would say. But if we were to do actual professional quality content, then we have to probably invest in diffusers and mic diffusers, lighting to really get good quality content like you would see on certain YouTube channels, yeah. Because we do utilize YouTube contents and some of them are really, really good. And if you see that kind of content that was created by other people, it's a lot of effort. It's not a single person type of show. Yeah, you have a whole team behind it just to create 2-3 minutes of content. Yeah, so that's a lot of resources required to do 2 or 3 minutes of content.
Yep.
Not really as simple and as clear cut as what people are saying it to be. Oh, you can just really just do it. Yeah, not really. Yeah, we've tried it. We are doing it. Yeah, we are doing it, but challenges are abound. We have to just find a way to go about it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I do understand the challenges that you have. So perhaps maybe, yes, for those type of videos, I think you need a professional team to produce. Like you said that, when you're cooking with the exhaust fan, it's very noisy. You will need, although there are some apps that you can use on your own to cut out the noise at the back, but it may not be able to really cut out that kind of noise that you are having. So in terms of those type of videos, I think you might need some equipment and maybe a team of professionals who are able to help you to create. But I guess, let's say if you think about other types of videos, I mean, other types of instructional videos, like maybe if you are teaching your students to cut something, to carve a watermelon, would that kind of videos be possible?
Yes, it is possible. We have done it, yes.
So perhaps, you need to think about the different types of videos that you want to make, and then you have to classify it into, okay, this type of videos, I will need a team of people to help me, whereas this type of videos are videos that I can do. And like for us here today, let's say we are talking about Prezi. For your discipline, I would think that most likely it will be applicable for the theoretical part, but you try to explain the terms. It may be also possible for you to use in terms of explaining to your students, like, doing the different cuts and whatever, those type of videos. But yeah, I do agree that in terms of, let's say you want to do the cooking, the whole thing in the kitchen, then you might need a professional team. Okay, thank you very much, Johan, for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay, anyone? Next. Have someone else?
All right, I'll share.
Okay. You want to share your picture or anything? You can.
I will share screen if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Richard.
Okay. I chose the second one. Just give me a second.
Okay.
All right. I chose the second one. 2-1B, right? Because I teach programming and I like to see the students being active in the programming itself. So they do have slides where the sample codes are given, the explanation is given there. And my videos are more of real-time videos. So during class, the recording takes place. So in case they miss something, or then they always go back and view back the video, because in the video, in the class, they do real-time programming. So what I do is, I think you can see my, sorry, I'm sharing the wrong screen. Okay, let me just bring this here. Can you see this? This is a sample of my video.
No, I see it. I see your Teams chat. I see the Teams chat.
Now do you see it?
Now, yes, it's a video.
Yeah, a video on SharePoint.
Yep, correct.
Okay, so this is a video, and then if you can see the video here, it is actually, we are running it on an not our usual programming platform, but this is Replit, which I use with the students, because students get to access it, just like how you share the link and then they can access it together. So what you see at the top here are my students online with me, and they all have to be online. You see online 17, I'm not sure if you can see it clearly. I actually put tasks for them to do. So several students will get several tasks. They get time to do it. Some will be overlooking while their friends are doing, and they can also correct. So you can see a few of them are online at the site here as well. Different programs they're running. then so they are all on doing it together, and then I'm there to give them feedback as well, because besides just programming, they need to know how to debug. So some of their friends are helping them to debug, telling them what's wrong and things like that. And where do they get their references from? They actually refer to the slide which is uploaded for them. All right. So this is one way that we do during class, but you know, when the class is big, sometimes you can't do for all of them. This is like a tutorial, so you can do this. The other one that I do is on Teams, which you just now saw. So on Teams, if I go to my room, I have breakout rooms, right? And on breakout rooms, each student takes charge, one student takes charge of the breakout room. It's about 3 students in a room or 4 students in a room. And they take charge, and they have their own Replit group. So I throw a question to them, they work out the solution, and I go into each room, and I also at that point tell them, you know, what they can do better, or talk to them. And I think when you get into smaller groups, it is more engaging. So it's not so much about whether I'm using Prezi or it's not even, but it's about how I get them engaged. Because previously, when COVID first started, I found myself talking for 2 hours and wondering whether they were listening on the other side or whether they got it, you know, even though it's recorded and all that. Then I realized the interactivity was more important. And so I found this a little better, in the sense that students go back with the learning, not just watching a slide or reading a slide or whatever. So they actually learn how to do programming, debugging, and they learn from each other as well. Collaborative learning.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Bridget. Yes, I truly agree with you on the interactivity when it comes to online learning. It's not just about delivering the lectures and all. Like you mentioned just now, it's not just about using Prezi video and you think that students are engaged. It's not. Prezi is just another tool to help you engage with your learners, but it doesn't mean that that's it. Having the videos there and then the magic will happen and your students will learn. It is still also, it goes back to the course design, like I did with you the last time. It's really thinking a lot about how you design the lessons, okay? And the videos are just one of the things that you can do in your lessons. Right, thank you so much, Bridget. Oh, nice sharing there. Okay, can we hear from another person before we move on? Anyone? Wants to share? Can we hear from one more participant? No? Okay. Yes, Anwar?
Hi everyone, good morning. I'm Anwar. So for me, I think that for the first question, the element is a 2.6 facilitator. For me, I saw that this one is more for what I'm doing, but maybe not fully what mentioned there, but it's something that I'm doing. For example, the first for the student to have their own learning goals, especially in their assignment-based assignment in order to achieve their learning outcome. It's more to the assignments. So I give them the something like a freedom to choose what is their title, is the issue for. So I think so from there I will facilitate whether this issue or this title can be done or not. So I facilitate through during online. I use that like just now, Bridget, using the Microsoft Teams. I created not a room, but actually a chat group. So for this semester, I have 200 plus students, but to make sure that no free rider, so I take an extra effort to make a group of 3 to 4 students. So I have around 453 groups. So I created in order that I can reach them group by group to facilitate. So so I created the groups and I set their names based on the field, because before that I need them to register their name in their Google document. That one also I facilitate their virtually online. They sign up by themselves. They can choose, and then I will facilitate as well. And from there I will from the group chat I will facilitate them about their assignment, group by group, case by case lah. So from there I think that I will more understand each of the group, what are the problems. Sometimes from there also I know whether the student participate or not from the communication, in terms of the communication in the group chat. Beside that, in the virtual classroom also, I introduce to them some of the learning activities, online tools for them to join and do it. For example, using the Mentimeter and also Kahoot and Menti. So all this will make me, I facilitate them to make them to learn. So by using that online tools, I think that help the student that are very shy to turn on the microphone to say their points. So from the activities, from the quizzes, small short quizzes, so from there that they can express their understanding about their learning. So I think that I choose the facilitator as I try to be a facilitator.
Okay, so how might you use videos in terms of your enhancing your practice or in your students' work or you playing other roles? How can videos help you?
In terms of videos, for the student learn how to create their videos because they need to, for the assignment, need to do some interview with an outsider. So they need to record. For now, it's recording. So record that interview short session with the respondent. So from there, they learn how to make to combine all the video and put some of interesting items for the submission. In terms of mine, so I use the video to show some of the extra point that not in the syllabus to explain the main point. So I use a video, short video, 3 to 5 minutes, and post it together in the open learning. So I use that.
Okay, right. So in terms of videos, not only you create videos yourself, you also encourage your students to create videos as submission of assignments. Okay, good. Thank you for sharing. Right. Okay, so let's go back to where did my slides go? Okay, let's continue now. Okay, moving on. Let's look at the 4 C's in education. Do you know what are the 4 C's in education? Anybody?
Creating,
Collaborating, okay.
Creating,
okay. Okay, sorry, say communication. Critical thinking. Right, okay. So before we move on, I think Stephanie asked a question. Do you reward marks to students by submitting videos? I think this question is directed to Anwar, right? Do you reward marks to students by submitting videos?
Oh, yeah. Stephanie.
Yeah.
Actually, the assignment is need them to create to submit a video. So definitely have marks.
Okay.
Marks.
All right. So that means it's sort of like instead of the pre-COVID, they stand in front and present. Now they record the video and present as a video submission. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So I think you got round about it right. Okay. The 4 C's in education, or sometimes we call it the 21st century skills, is communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. We believe that these, 4 C's, if we embed it in our education system, our lessons, and so on, students will be well prepared for this 21st century. Okay? Do you agree? Do you agree with all these 4 C's here? You think they are important? Yes, all important? All important? Anything that is not important or not? No, or anything that is missing or not?
Missing.
Missing, not that. Is it only 4 things only that we need to make them skilled for the century?
More than 4.
More than 4, yeah. So now we have the 7 C's. Okay, so what are these 7 C's? We have just now that 4, yeah, communication, we have the collaboration, we have critical thinking, creativity, and now we have this computational thinking. In some literature, you will find that critical thinking, they put it together with computational thinking. Critical thinking and computational thinking is not exactly the same, okay? Critical thinking means you're able to analyze a problem and see it from different perspectives and evaluate it, pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages, blah, 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 before you make a decision, right? That is critical thinking. But computational thinking here is more about seeing the pattern, seeing the logic, like computer programming language, right? Is seeing the logic, seeing the pattern. Okay, so that they are able to solve a future problem. No, I should say, when they see a problem, they can see a pattern and then look back at the past experiences or the past problems that they had, and they can see a pattern to it, and they know how to analyze and evaluate the situation better to come up with a solution. That is computational thinking. Okay. Now, the next one is community. Now, as we all now with technology, we really have no more borders, right? Although many years ago, I still remember people keep telling that your classroom should be a global classroom. Your classroom shouldn't have walls at all. But now I think the more, especially after this whole COVID thing, right? The more we see that it really is borderless. Okay, it's the community that we are educating. Okay, and we also want to ensure that our students are able to function properly in the community. I'm sure all of you here, my dear colleagues, you have heard students who go out into the industry to work. Employers say, cannot work, this boy, this girl cannot work. Yeah, why? Because they have been just learning and never really understand how to be in the community, how to actually talk to people, how to collaborate, how to communicate with people. Okay, so that is why another important C that we educators need to be aware of is the community part. In our lessons that we teach, how do we connect our lessons to what our students can do as a community member? Okay, this also extends to the level of CSR, community service. Yeah, how can we teach our students to be good in giving community service? It's another big C here. Yeah, change making. This is even larger than just the community. Change making is about the global issues that we are having today. Okay, how do we empower our students to be change makers? Okay, not just do their own job and that's it. That's the end of it. So not easy, yeah, being an educator today. From the 4 C's that we need to think about how to incorporate them into our lessons, now we have like 7 C's that we should all consider in how to making them fit in. Now, I want to say that this, all these 7 C's will be easily applicable in every discipline. Some discipline will tend to have more communication and collaboration. Some will probably have more to do with creativity. Okay, some will not much have change making. Yeah, but we should always try our best to look at it holistically and see how much we can put these C's into our lessons. Okay, because I am also a firm believer of we as educators here, we are not only just teaching the students the content, but also teaching them about life skills so that they can survive outside in the future. Okay, because content can be simply anywhere they can take it from, especially now with Google, right? With YouTube, you can just easily get content and get information. But what can we do more than just giving the content? So we should consider all these 7 C's. Now, time for reflection again. I'd like you to think about how much do you incorporate the 7 C's in your lessons? Like I said, it may not be, so far I have not encountered any one particular lesson that can actually have all 7 C's or a course that can have all 7 C's, unless you are teaching courses like, the best that I can think of is like any course on social responsibility, then you might have all the 7 C's, you might, okay, because you think about the collaboration, the communication, and also reaching out to the community and making changes and all, you might. But generally for the rest of us, we might not have all the 7 C's. But how many of those C's do you have in your practice or in your lessons? Okay, and then next question, going back to the videos. How do you think videos can help integrate the 7 C's into your classroom practice? How can you use those videos to incorporate that 7 C's to help you have the 7 C's in your classroom practice? Okay? All right, 5 minutes. Consideration or courtesy. Stephanie, what is your question? Consideration, courtesy. Okay. Okay. So you were answering to my earlier question. Okay. Okay, thanks. Okay, about 1 minute. Time's up. Right. So can we have someone to share? Someone who has not shared in the first round, perhaps? Anyone? Yes. Okay, so Stephanie saying, I feel that it's very much depending on the unit and also the topic of the unit. Say my oral organizational communication, is it? The emphasis on collaboration when cover conflict. Okay, change me. Yes, Stephanie, you want to tell us?
That's why I say it's depending very much on the subject, yeah. So within the one subject itself, then you have like subtopics, yeah, because we chunk it into like 12 topics, 10 topics, right? So I personally, I do not think that it's possible to incorporate 7 C's into one topic. But
Well,
yes, definitely videos does help a lot, definitely. But the time to find the right video is time consuming also. You can search through the entire YouTube, right, for 2 days, 3 days, and to find the perfect video, that is another story. So basically, yeah. So video definitely helps, yes.
okay, all right. Yes, I truly agree. But it's good that you can see many of the C's in your course that you are teaching. Wonderful. Thank you, Stephanie.
Okay.
Okay. Someone else to share?
Creativity about the video.
Pardon?
Creativity.
Creativity
Yeah.
about the video. You mean to
When
say?
you create a video, so the content maybe we can make creative content so the student can easy to understand and get what you try to say. So the creativity is more important.
So you think for your course delivery, videos has to be creative kind of videos. Creative videos so that they are interested. Okay. But what about in terms of the content of the courses that you're teaching? What kind of, which of the C's that you have?
For example, when I teach about the judiciary system, so in the video maybe I can put politician picture,
Okay.
then the case in court and everything, so the student can see and use.
So in your opinion, creativity is the most important C.
Yeah.
What about other things like change making, community? I don't know, you said you're teaching something about politics and all. Will that be
Community.
do you see like maybe possible to have change making in your content and your video as well? This is you're teaching politics, right? Cultural studies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Anybody else? Anybody else want to share? Yes, Raja?
Okay, I'll try. No worries.
Yeah.
We are in the hospitality school, yeah. So and we teach food and beverage. It's strictly to do with restaurant and kitchen. Now, when we teach, we try to make it as realistic as possible so that students know exactly what to expect when they go in the industry. But sometimes certain things we cannot do because we can't simply scream. I mean, you cannot scream at the student. So students are not exposed in real life. I'm not saying cannot scream in real life in the industry. Chefs will throw plates at the students. Restaurant managers will scream. So I'm not saying we don't do all that. Yeah. So they don't, that part of it, they don't have that exposure. So when they go to for internship, when they experience all this, they get culture shock.
Uh-huh.
That is one of the reason why many students don't do well in this industry, this working thing here. In terms of videos, there's lots of videos we can use for teaching. A lot of good ones to be used. This is more to communicating community lah. Going back to community when they go to work, preparing them to work. Not everybody can take the challenge because work industry, it's long working hours. You must have some sort of how should I say, willpower and discipline to be able to excel in this section, especially the kitchen and service industry. Otherwise, it is going to be difficult because your bosses will scream, will say things, all kinds of weird things to you, yeah, all kinds of vulgar words to be thrown to you. So some people just cannot accept that fact. That's about it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Raja. You're right. I also I'm aware that this nature in the kitchen of chefs screaming at the other workers, yeah. And
Yeah.
of course, as academics here, we don't really we don't practice those sort of things.
Correct.
I think this is something that I'm not sure whether how do you say it? Should this kind of attitude be enforced, or should we make this a norm? I think that there's also it's another sort of like another debate on this, like, because I don't have experience in the kitchen and all, but I do have also experience, and not say myself, but I've seen it with my own eyes in terms of, let's say, I mean, for the rest of us who are not in the kitchen, yeah, not in the service industry, those who are in academics, talking about academics, like how PhD candidates or master candidates are being treated during Viva, and how, you know, some examiners belittle or trash, in other words, the candidate during Viva, you know, the type of words and tone that are being used, how supervisors treat the students and all. This is also somewhat like you're explaining to me how it is like in the kitchen. I was just reading something about this the other day of like, you know, it's like the cycle, whether, say for example, now you are a supervisor to a student. Last time you were treated badly by your supervisor, should you now treat your student like how your supervisor treat you, or should you now take the lead to change the way, you know, a person should be treated, like, you know, in terms of talking about humanity, dignity and all these things, right? So, well, I guess that's another story. But perhaps for your case to kind of bring the students to the reality, I don't know, is there any videos that can show it? Any
No, most videos will not have the real life thing. You all showing the smile, so happy face.
I'm not sure whether if there is a particular, like say, a documentary of a real life chef talking about his experience, so that it's shared to the students, so that students are aware that these are some things that happen in real life. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Raja.
No problem.
Okay. So let's move on to the next part. We have actually looked at two things already, the ISTE and also the 7 Cs. Yeah. And one last one before we go for our break. It's perhaps this one, I think you have seen it before. It's called the Community of Inquiry, the COI model. Oh, Stephanie said you've invited a chef to share experience. Oh, cool. Yeah, fantastic. So perhaps we can get all the culinary students to take part. And also the hospitality industry. I think it's almost the same. Right, great. Thanks for sharing, Stephanie. Okay, so coming to this Community of Inquiry COI model, I think maybe some of you have seen it before because this is actually a very common model when we talk about educational experience. Okay, educational experience. When we, in terms of, like I said just now, as an educator, okay, our objective is to ensure that students get a good educational experience with us. Okay, it's not just about delivering the content. The content is only one part, but it's the whole experience that they have with us that makes the difference. If you were to look back in your previous educational experience, yeah, your own personal experience, I'm sure you had some very good memories of certain teachers that you favor. Some not so good memories of some teachers, right? Somehow there are some teachers that just give you the very nice feeling, right? And also sometimes it's a subject that you dislike, but because of the way the teacher teaches it, it changes your perspective on the subject. And at the end of it, you actually fell in love with the subject and even excel in it. I'm sure you have experienced many of these kind of situations before in life. So that is why, as an educator, we are not just content provider. We are providing them an educational experience. Okay, it's the experience that they have with us that is more valuable than just the content, because the content is there. They can always go to the books, go to the library, go to the internet and find the content. But how you deliver the content to make them understand, that is the difference. That is the difference from one teacher to another teacher. Okay, so when we talk about educational experience here, 3 important things is needed. Okay, is the cognitive presence, the social presence, and the teaching presence. Having all these 3 things will ensure that your student will have a good educational experience. Okay, so it's all about how learning takes place, okay, for a group of students through the educational experience that occurs at the intersection of the social, cognitive, and teaching presence. So when I say cognitive presence means something to do with their head. So this is a lot about the content. Okay? Content is not enough. Then you need to have the teaching presence, which is you, okay? Not just you as you, the teacher, but you designing the lessons, facilitating the course, how you plan the course, how you plan the activities, students will do what kind of activities afterwards so that they can actually enhance their cognitive ability here. Okay, now in addition to that, there must also be a social presence. There must also be some kind of communication. They can talk to you. They can also talk to their peers, discussion, collaboration that can happen. So with all this, then you will get a good experience. Okay, so as an educator, we must constantly think about these three things here: the cognitive presence, the teaching presence, how you design your lessons, how you play an important role in that, and of course also the classroom environment, the social presence. Okay? Somebody said something, right?
Yeah, Michelle, can you give an example of supporting discourse? The top.
The social presence and cognitive, this one.
Only the supporting discourse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, supporting discourse here meaning that when you have the cognitive, the content, okay, the content presence, you need to also have the social, because this actually, this whole framework, yeah, comes from the social constructivist. Social constructivism is where we believe that students are the one who make meaning of the things they learn. Okay. Now, social constructivist is where they believe that the meaning is only enforced when you use it in your community, in your social presence. If not, there is no meaning at all. So with the social here, it creates the supporting discourse for the strengthening of the cognitive, the meaning. You get what I mean? Okay, yeah. All right. So I am actually a social constructivist. Yeah, there are many school of thoughts in terms of education. I'm sure you have heard of the behaviorists, where they believe a lot in drilling. Don't get me wrong, yeah, there is no such thing as right or wrong, okay, in terms of all these different school of thoughts in terms of education. Behaviorists has their own strengths, okay, the social constructivists, the constructivists, and also the connectivists, they have their own strength also, okay. There are certain subjects, certain lessons that you need to apply the behaviorism. For example, even like I'm teaching English, generally I will apply the social constructivism idea, because language is a community. I need the social presence in order to ensure that the cognitive presence is there. So that is why I apply a lot of social constructivism. But then again, sometimes I also apply the behaviorism, because like certain things like in terms of like grammar and all, right? It is sometimes a lot of drilling also for the very fundamental, like I am, she is, he is, you know, this is a very it's a behaviorism kind of a thing. So sometimes you need to apply the behaviorism part of it. Okay, so there is no right, no wrong. It really depends on your course, your discipline, and also sometimes the personality of the teacher. Okay. Yes. We can never get away from Bloom's taxonomy level 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. Although we always say focus on 4, 5, 6, right? But you can never have 4, 5, 6 without 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's just like I was explaining to you. Your substructure must be there before you can actually go further. So if you don't have your proper videos and all for your online course, your learning activities and whatever task that you want to do doesn't make sense, because it is not based on anything that the students is able to do. They are not really receiving proper instructions and engagement. Okay. All right. So one last reflection question before you go for your break. Okay. So now, how might you use video as part of your practice? How might the components of the community of inquiry model connect with the video you create? Okay, so think about the cognitive presence, social presence, and teaching presence. These three things. Knowing this community of inquiry model, how do you think you can use videos? Okay, all right, in your practice. And how might the components connect with your video? Okay, right, I give you 3 minutes. This is very short only. Up. So can we hear from you now? Anyone who has not shared anything this morning? I haven't heard your voice. Jasmine.
Hi, Michelle. Morning.
Hi, Aisha.
Aishwarya here. Yeah. Okay. In terms of using the videos, I'm teaching social science subjects. I teach sociology. So I use a lot of videos because there's a lot of concepts and terms, and I teach the students. And when it's too theoretical, they find it too difficult to understand, too challenging to understand sometimes. So I use all these videos. They come from YouTube and all other sources, and I use these videos to enhance their understanding towards the concepts and the terms that I'm I also do pre-record videos for some other classes of mine. These are for my MPU classes. And because they are 3-hour lectures, so I feel that pre-recorded videos work better because it allows them the time to learn at their own pace. You know, they can stop, they can pause, and then they can take in the information, and then they can continue when they've understood what they've learned earlier. So that's how videos work for me for my classes. Yeah, and as for the inquiry model, I think social presence and teaching presence resonate with what I'm doing better. As for the social presence part, it's more on communicating and group work, right? So I use Microsoft Teams, especially the breakout rooms, to initiate discussion, to engage the student into discussions. I feel that when I put them into smaller groups, because they're in small groups, right? There's only 3 or 4 of them. They are kind of, they have to talk. So there's a lot of sharing of information. They discuss among them, they express their views. And I would enter into their breakout rooms, and students find that it's much easier to talk to me when I put them into smaller groups that way. That's for the social presence part. For the teaching presence, I do give them discussion topics, discussion questions. But before I get them to talk, I do share my own experiences or my ideas first to get them started. So that's how I incorporate these things in my classes, in my lessons.
Right, thank you. Thank you for sharing, Ashra. Nice one. Okay. So Stephanie says here is about creating a moment that could link the lessons in the presence of teachers, students, and their active state of mind. Yes, that's right. Yeah. It's the complete thing that makes the educational experience wholesome and wonderful. Okay, can we hear from someone else? We still haven't heard from Jasmine. Jasmine, you want to share your thoughts?
Michelle, can I share? Logis here.
Logis, yes, sure.
Okay. I do teach finance. Okay, some certain topics I have to introduce the students to the stock market. So for the purpose of showing it, I went and opened my own CDS account.
Wow.
So that I can show them how is the virtual market is. Of course I cannot show them the real market because we don't have that market anymore really. So I went and opened my own CDS account so that I can show my students how is the virtual market. So it will be like a video with link to my account, my Maybank account. So it will be moving and students will become like more engaging into that. And they started asking me a lot of questions, which even I do not know because I don't trade. I just purpose of teaching it. So then I happens to contact some remisers, and I have to learn a lot of things, new things also for them to teach, for me to teach them.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Thank you.
So how do you think that the community of inquiry framework fits into your practice?
The thing is, when I'm showing them, students are more interested. When we teach them how is the stock market, they don't really get the pictures. So when I'm showing them, this is how the virtual market, so there will be like changing of colors. Red colors means the price drop, green color, the price increase. And this is the highest price that can go, lowest price. And then we do have a technical analysis also. So I'll show them the highest price that it use has been gone previously, and it will go, be predicted on the price also sometimes.
Okay, so it seems like you have the cognitive presence there in terms of showing them the CDS account, and then you have the teacher presence there, as in you are the one like facilitating, planning, and showing them what to see and all. So perhaps you might want to think about what you can do for the social presence then.
Social presence, I have to think about it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Logis.
Okay, thank you.
So, shall we hear from Jasmine or Tracy? Tracy, you want to share?
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Still trying to digest because I basically don't teach, so a lot of things, I can't really put into practice at the moment. So, but I'm trying to digest whatever that has been taught, putting thoughts to it. Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting that I see you join my training because I know that you don't teach. But no harm learning. Thank you for coming for my session. Thank you for your support. Jasmine, would you like to share?
Hi, Michelle and everyone. Okay, so basically, I just newly joined UOW in January, and then this semester, there's no subject assigned to me. So I'm still in the process of developing all those teaching material for the audio program. So I'm still digesting your material.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome on board, Jasmine. Which department are you from, or which school are you from?
School of Business.
Ah, School of Business. Okay. Right. Okay, right. Thank you, Jasmine. I hope you will have a fun time learning with us, right? Okay, cool. So we shall now take a break, okay, for 15 minutes. So it's 10:50 now. I'll come back at 11:05 and then we'll start looking at videos and move on to Prezi. Okay? 15 minutes break, everybody okay with it? Yes, yeah? Okay. I'm not your boss, Raja. Okay, see you at 11:05. Hey, welcome back. Is everybody back already? Energized, like your coffee or tea or Milo? Okay, great, awesome. Let's continue, yeah? Let's take a look at this picture. Now we had a lot of words, right? Now we try to have more pictures, yeah? What do you see in this picture? What do you get from this picture?
Couple.
Couple. Then some more. You know these famous couples, right? I'm sure you know them. Their relationship, yeah, exactly. So, you know, people say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So just looking at this picture here, Stephanie says that she knows their relationship. Wow. So much, yeah, relationship, so deep. But just a picture, but she knows the relationship already. So I'm sure you've heard of this phrase. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So if just visual itself, a picture speaks 1,000 words, what about videos? This is also another very popular picture. Have you seen this before, this picture? Of this young lady here who is also she also does Grab delivery. Have you seen it? I think it was sometime 2020 this year. In 2020. Do you know the story behind her? Or maybe not the story yet. Just looking at this picture here, what do you what message do you get?
Struggle.
It's a struggle, yeah. Some more?
Caring.
Caring. Very caring mother, yeah. Okay, multitasking, okay, say. Multitasking also. Multitasking. Yeah, and Zamiro says it's a struggle. She must be having a very difficult life, right? Yeah, having to work and having to juggle, yes, juggles. Stephanie says juggle with the kids and all. Not easy life for her, right? Okay, so that's what we get. We outsiders, we see. But if you were to go and dig into this story a little bit, yeah, there is but when this picture came out, then people started sharing, you know, with Facebook and whatever now, people all just become very viral. So everybody, you know, started saying that, oh, so sad, young lady had to work, take care of children, you know, what a difficult life for this young lady. And so they started going to dig deeper into her story to find out about her. Some people started pouring in with money, donations to help her. Okay, so there is actually a lot of story about her if you were to go and read into it. So there are many versions of the story, but apparently the latest one, or I don't know whether is it 100% true or not, but it seems like this lady, she has been doing this kind of things for a long time. She's from Russia, yeah. She's been doing this kind of things for a long time. And she does it, people say it's just to seek attention, okay? And she tells people the story that how her family is not supportive of her and she has to move out. And how her husband is a bum and basically not helpful, yeah? But in reality, it seems that the people around the neighborhood see them, the couple together, the husband and wife together. And apparently, it seems like she was given a house to stay for free, yeah, because of her condition and all. People donated to her. And because she was saying that her husband doesn't help with the family, she has to handle the kids all by herself. But later on, they found out that the husband actually moved into the house with her. And then there was this thing that went viral again, and then she apologized for misusing the money that she received from the public and so on. And then she I think she was invited to some TV talk show and all, that kind of thing. So people actually are saying that she is purposely doing all these things to kind of like ask for empathy, sympathy, and just want to be well known. Okay? So, but just now, before I tell you this story, you just look at the picture and you had this very sad feeling for her, right? But after I tell you this story, do you feel exactly that same sad feeling for her condition? Con artist. Okay, so I seriously, I try to read more about it to kind of understand really the whole story. But until now, there seems to be no one real fake story, seems to be like not, I don't know, she's not telling the truth, or the media is not telling the truth, or I don't know what's going on. Anyway, well, that's Russia, yeah. I need more help. You're referring to her, yeah? Or really you need more help, certainly. Okay, so someone saying, if visual speaks 1,000 words, then video speak 1,000,000 or trillion words. Am I right? If just from one picture, just now itself, there can be so much things that can go on, the story that can come out from it. But when you share a video, it must speak so much more in terms of volume, right? Now, when we talk about videos, first thing that comes into everybody's mind nowadays is none other than Miss YouTube, yeah? Okay, so let's look at some statistics here. It's a very long infographic, but I'm just going to focus on the user engagement, okay? Because this is what we are going to focus on today, engaging videos, right? Just now, many of you shared, you said that you use videos in your lessons, in your courses, and a lot of videos that you take from YouTube also, okay? So I'm sure you're quite interested in what is the user engagement for YouTube videos. And by the way, I'm sure you know YouTube is the second most popular social media platform. Are you aware of it? YouTube is the second most popular social media platform. Do you know who's number one?
No.
No. Not yet. TikTok, not yet. No, not Instagram. Yes, FB. Facebook, yeah. Facebook is the number one most used social media platform. YouTube is number 2. Number 3? Instagram usually only the young people, not yet. Nope.
Twitter.
Nope. Number 3. Start with W. We use it every day.
WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp. Okay, the first one is Facebook, second is YouTube, third is WhatsApp, and then followed by I think number 4 is Facebook Messenger. TikTok not yet. Not yet make it to that number yet. Okay, so let's look at YouTube. Today we'll focus on YouTube. If you look at the statistics for YouTube user engagement, yeah, total video watch hours per day is 1 billion. So imagine the number of hours watched per day is 1 billion hours. Yeah. And when we look at number of videos watched per day, 5 billion videos are watched every day. Every day, 5 billion videos. And how much time do people spend on watching YouTube videos? 11 minutes, 24 seconds. Each person. That's the amount of time they're spending on YouTube. And who are the users by age? Of course, this statistics here is based on the American internet population, yeah. Okay, but just this is just a general idea of what is it like. Okay, the number, the percentage of users by age. Who are they generally? The percentage here goes to who are these people in our everyday life? Our students. Okay, this is our students' age, right? Okay, but of course, if you look across the board, the percentage is actually not low, also it's pretty high. So that tells you that YouTube videos really is one of the most powerful ones in the world where people are getting content and information from. Okay, so videos are really very powerful. But then again, in YouTube, you have all sorts of videos, But today, we are only going to focus on instructional video. Okay, now we are talking about instructional videos. Instructional means to teach. Videos to teach someone something. Of course, there are many videos on YouTube also is to teach people something, yeah, but our focus here is to learn how to make videos to teach something, not to make movie, not to make music videos or anything like that. Yeah. Because I noticed that in my past trainings on video making is a lot of times lecturers think that, oh, make video means I must have the professional, set up the room big, must have the videographer, boomer, whatever, all these lighting off. No. Okay, we are not doing that. We are not making Hollywood movies. Okay, we don't need to make Hollywood movies. We just need to make instructional videos only. Okay, of course, the video should be of good quality. And the word good quality is very subjective also, yeah. Good quality here means clear, can understand, that kind of thing. Audio is clear, visual is clear. No need to have like Hollywood blockbuster movie quality. Okay, not that kind of video, yeah. So instructional videos are videos that demonstrate the process. You transfer knowledge, or you explain the concept, or just show someone how to do something. Basically, it's just to teach someone something, share something with someone. So that is an instructional video, and that's our focus today. So now I'm going to show you some videos. Yeah, there are 4 videos here made by me. Wait, let me think. Yeah, okay, so this one should be good. Okay, so let's watch video 1 first, yeah. Can you hear? Can you hear over the other side? Okay, no sound. Yeah. Wait, I need to share the sound. We share video, right? No. Share sound. Share sound. Is there sound now? No. Now? Sharing. Right. Share. And you can share some. Yeah, I did it now. I did. I just try.
The trendy superfood with Portuguese origin that has a fancy C, a C with a tail, is called açaí.
Thank you.
This word is often mispronounced as acai or açaí. It's actually açaí. Another nutritious food, commonly mispronounced as almond. The correct pronunciation has L silent. It's almond. A common favorite among Japanese food lovers, the pink flesh freshwater fish called salmon, but often mispronounced as salmon. Similar to almond, the L is silent. This can be a painful experience, but there's not a need to die. It's called divorce, not divorce. So, who is she? She's an entrepreneur. Many English words have French origins, and this is one current buzzword often mispronounced as entrepreneur. It's actually entrepreneur. So, there you have 6 commonly mispronounced words. Pronouncing English words can be tricky, but with some practice, you'll get better. So, keep practicing and stay tuned for more.
Okay, so now let's look at video 2.
Hello everyone. Today we're going to look at the contraction form apostrophe D and what it means. I can mean I would or I had. The contraction apostrophe D can mean would or had. You might have seen this before. You'd means you would or you had. He'd means he would or he had, and so on. So how can we tell if apostrophe D is would or had? Would is followed by the bare infinitive. Bare infinitives are like and rather in these examples. I'd like some coffee means I would like some coffee. I'd rather stay home means I would rather stay home. Had is followed by a past participle. For example, he had given me the papers means he had given me the papers. Dad washed the car means they had washed the car. The word.
Let's move on to the third video.
Hi everyone, welcome to this session. We are going to look at subject-verb agreement. So what exactly is subject-verb agreement? Remember, we talked about this in the previous lesson. In every English sentence, there must be a subject. And the subject must agree in terms of its number with the verb. So that means that if you have a singular subject, it must take the singular verb form. For example, in this sentence here, the cat is the singular subject and the verb form here must also follow its singular form, meows. Notice that for the singular verb form, we put a letter S at the end. However, in the plural sentence, the plural form is meow without an S. Now the cat is a plural subject, therefore the plural verb is meow. So here are some quick tips for you.
And the fourth video.
Hello everyone, how have you been? In this segment, I'm going to talk about transitions. In academic writing, it is really important that you convey your ideas clearly and concisely as you aim to convince your readers with your arguments. Now, to do that effectively, we use transitional phrases. So transitions help us to create connections between ideas, sentences, paragraphs, and sections of our writing. So how do you know when you need transitions? If your readers tell you that your essay is choppy, jumpy, or abrupt, then you know that you need transitions. Or someone tells you that he can't follow your essay, or he can't see your train of thought, or that your essay appears in chunks, or you seem to be speaking in your writing. If you get such feedback, then you know you need to work on the transitions in your writing.
Okay, so you have watched 4 videos already. In your opinion, which video do you prefer? You can put in your chat here. Okay, the number 1, 2, 3, 4. Samiro says 3. Okay. Stephanie says 2. 1. Okay. 1. Okay, those who choose 1, why do you prefer 1? Can you share with us why you prefer 1? You can turn on your mic to share. Why do you prefer video 1? Sharon says he likes the last one. Food related. Food very attractive. Okay. So you like the food, not the way that the video is made, yeah? Maybe I should ask the question more specifically just now. Which one do you like, as in which one do you think is most engaging to you? Interesting that you all say that you like the pictures. Seem to get it work there. 1 is low in energy. 3 and 4, the content are competing for attention with the attractive speaker. Okay, all right. So those who say 1 because the picture, okay, is attractive, is good. Okay, anybody says 2? Yes, Stephanie, you said 2. Why do you like 2? So for video 2, you think that it is not competing with the content. You can focus better, okay. All right. Those who chose 3, why do you like 3?
Word sentence.
Got sentence, and then what else?
Teachers are moving around like in the classroom.
Oh, the teacher is moving around like in the classroom, okay? So it's more like a real life classroom thing, okay? Right? And 4, Aishwarya says you like the last one. The music made it fun. Okay, interesting to see that all of you have got your own opinions. Yeah, no right, no wrong. Well, okay. But just let me explain to you the different, these are generally the different types of videos that are usually made. I won't say these 4 here represent all types of instructional videos, but typically these are the ones which are videos that teachers or lecturers can make on their own. Okay, just to share with you, all these 4 videos are made completely on my own. I was the content director, I was the light person, the boomer, the videographer, the editor, the everything. So all these videos are made just by myself without anybody's help. there is no professional team involved. Okay. Ideally, we would like to have a professional team with us making instructional videos. Realistically, that is not possible. Okay, because to hire a team of professionals to make instructional videos is very expensive and also very time consuming. All right, so these are, I would say, generally the two main factors of why professionals are not hired to make instructional videos. Except like just now, like Johan shared about his kitchen, you know, those type of video is different. That one, yes, you might need a professional help. But for videos like that, you don't need a professional team to help. You can just do it on your own. Okay? There are pros and cons to each of these type of videos. Okay, I won't say one is better than the other or what. Yeah. You can leave it on my disable. Thanks, Ruby. Okay, so in the first video, you don't see the instructor's face at all. It is just focused on the slides. And here in particular, you see very colorful visuals. So colorful, attractive visuals, that's something that we should always use in our videos, because that gives you a nice feeling, right? Like just now you said you like the pictures. It's interesting, right? Okay, but the thing is, sometimes when you don't have the instructor's presence there, it doesn't feel like, just now Anwar said, like classroom. It doesn't feel you. Remember going back to the COI just now, we talked about the teacher presence. There is no teacher presence in the first video, okay? As compared to video 3. Anwar said just now, it's like a classroom like that. I am learning in the classroom with the teacher because I can see the teacher there and she is moving like, you know, like in the classroom. So the teacher presence is there. Okay. Now in the second video, you do see the instructor here, hearing at the little corner. Yeah. And then there is the slide there. This one was made using Prezi, the old Prezi last time. Okay, so in this video, you have the instructor now, but it's appearing at the little corner. So there is some sort of a teacher presence, and there is also the content that you can focus for the cognitive presence, right? Okay, then you have the third video, which quite a few of you said that you like this one because it's like a classroom. There is a slide there and there is the teacher there. Okay, so for this video here, this particular one is what I taught last year in this same training session, okay, on how to create this type of videos. Okay, so this one will require a bit of an equipment, a bit more of technical knowledge in order to do that, but it's not entirely difficult. It's just that you need a more proper setup and all in order to create that. Okay, and the last video is what we are going to focus today, which is using Prezi video. Okay, now comparing the fourth video and the third video, I think just now Stephanie said that both are kind of like competing with the content, the presenter and the content. Well, research has shown that if you make a video with the teacher presence, just like what it is presented in the COI, there is more engagement for the student and with the students, rather than a video without the instructor's face. Okay, and that is why if I were to create any instructional videos, I would always suggest video 3 or video 4 instead of 1 or 2, because 2, the video of the instructor is too small. When it's too small, the learners cannot see your facial expressions, cannot see your gestures. And this is all the things that make you the one special for that course. Remember just now we talked about educational experience, how we can make our learners have that good educational experience. It is we, the educator, that makes the difference. How different teachers can touch us. And that is all through our gestures, our facial expressions, our tone of voice. So if you are doing the first and second video, you will find that that impact there is lowered compared to the third and the fourth video. The third video is still not too bad, but the fourth video is where you're really focused on the upper part, where the students can actually see you with your facial expressions. Okay, when you say something that is positive, or when you say something that is negative, or when you try to emphasize something, the students can actually see it very clearly. Okay, and moreover, with the content appearing beside you, you can actually easily, like if you notice just now when I did the video, I actually pointed to what I'm doing, signifying to my students, we are doing this, we are doing this, we are doing this and this and this. So it helps the learners to focus on what you are trying to teach. Okay, as compared to the first and the second video where the instructor is not exactly pointing. Of course, I can use my mouse and my cursor to do it, but it's not as impactful as you pointing it to the student there. Okay? Yeah? Right. So, so you've seen the different types of videos already. Let's just move on.
Hello everyone. Today we're going to look at the contraction.
Right. Now, what makes a video engaging? Any idea? What makes a video engaging?
Content,
The content, okay. Come on.
way of presenting,
The way of presenting, okay. Communication, two-way, okay.
Graphic.
The graphics, the visuals, right? Okay, right. Cool. Okay, the words used, that's right. So there are many things, right? So whenever we want to create a video, we need to keep in mind all these things that you mentioned to me just now, yeah? So think about how you can make your instructional video compelling for your learners. Because at the end of the day, you want the students to watch the video. Why you want the students to watch the video? So that they learn something from it, so that they can actually complete the task, and so that they can eventually achieve the learning outcomes that they are supposed to achieve. Okay, so what characteristics do students perceive as influencing their learning? When we talk about all these videos, now just now what we talk about is our perspective, right? Okay, what about the students' perspective? What do they think as, influencing them? What videos receive the most views? So we're going to just briefly look at these things, yeah. As we talk about all these things here, we will think about how students actually perceive learning through videos and what videos are considered engaging to them. Right. First thing is being on camera. I'd like you to ask yourself first, how do you feel about being on camera? I think just now earlier when I did the Mentimeter activity, quite a number of you say camera shy, right? Yeah. So I'm not too sure, but after teaching so much online, do you still feel camera shy now? Are you still camera shy? No more. Zamiro, no camera shy already. Oh, what about the rest of you? After being, online, teaching online like this for so long, do you still feel that camera shy kind of feeling? Login sorry says no confidence still. So you think that it's It's different, yeah. Teaching online like this and being in front of a video and know that you're being recorded. Yes, Johan, I agree. Recorded content is somewhat different. Yes. It is different when you're doing a recorded video than when you are teaching like this online. You're very right. When you want to do a recorded video, you really need to think about your content well, because just now you mentioned to me, what makes the video engaging is your content, right? True. Okay. Now, next question. If you know that you have to be on camera for this job, this teaching job, before you started many years ago, would you have taken this up years ago? Would you have said yes? I should have said no. When I signed up for this job, I never knew that I had to teach online. I never knew that I had to do videos and be recorded, right? So what about the rest of you? Will you still take this job or not? You're going to be on camera. Anwar?
For me, I have some experience with a lecturer or professor in the university that he implement this kind of, but without video, only the first video, but more interactive. Give the student. So from there, I learned that, oh, I have a kind of this during my study.
I see. Okay. So you know that as a teacher, you need to make some video. Okay. All right. But if you know that you have to appear in front of the camera, would you feel like you don't want to do this job?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Damiro?
Yeah.
Okay, anything. Never mind, because he knows that he is handsome in front of the camera, yeah. So what about the rest of you? No response. Still thinking. To take or not to take the job? Stephanie can lah, yeah lah. Pretty face lah, why not, right? Can lah, okay? Okay. Why should you get on camera and put videos into your courses? Well, I think this question I have already sort of answered a little bit last week when I did the training video, yeah. But more importantly is, when you have videos, the videos actually humanize your online course. Like I said last week also. If you do an online course and there is no videos at all, no feeling. Yeah, no feeling. Because why students come to the school or the university to learn from you? Because of you. Why do you do so well in mathematics or so well in history? Because of the teacher. The teacher was so motivating, so inspiring, and the activities that she or he designs, you know, is so good that it helps me to understand the concept. It's you. You are the one to make the course alive. Okay? So it is actually more than the content, more than just the course design. It is actually you who make a difference in the entire online course. Okay? You are the factor in an online course that has the greatest potential to help your students succeed. Now, this was taken from this book by Karen Koska. Okay? So, it's not just about the course design, it's not about the platform. Okay? It is you. You are actually the most important thing. All right, that is why you must appear in the video. Now, I'm just going to share with you some simple tech tips. This is a very basic, simple things. Okay, maybe some of you are already doing it. It probably will be a good reminder or assurance for you that, oh, I'm actually doing the right thing. Okay, just very simple tech tips in terms of taking videos. The first thing is, whenever you want to take a video, make sure you have good lighting. All right? You don't need to go and buy special light or whatever. It's okay. No special light also is fine. Even fluorescent light can work. Just make sure that you are seated with the light on your face, not the light behind you. If the light is behind you, then see nothing here in front like that. shadow already. Okay, but generally the sun is the best thing. So try to take your videos during the day. Okay, I think sure whether later afterwards. There is one video that I took. You might see afterwards. I can't remember if I share it or not. But there was this particular video that I took. I actually did it at night. And I did have my light, the selfie ring light in front of me. But yet you will see that the lighting is not. It is not so nice. Okay, all right. The best is still daylight and there is sun, and that is the best one. Okay. Okay, number 2 is position your video phone or laptop, whatever camera. Okay, the camera that's in front of you. Make sure it's at the eye level, not too high, because then it will see that you're like this here, or your head has to go up, which is not comfortable for you. Or if it's too low, then see at the bottom here, or see you've got double chin. Then some people don't like double chin. After that, look not nice, right? Okay, so always at the eye level. Generally, when you record on, if you are using Prezi, Prezi video afterwards, typically, I think most of us are having the same type of computer with the camera right on top of your monitor. Okay, so generally it should be okay. I do know that there are some computers where the camera is between F7 and F8. There are some computers now, the laptop, the camera is between the F7 and F8 button. That means on the keyboard there. Primarily that's to prevent any, people hacking into your computer. So if you have a camera there at that point, I would suggest that you invest in an external camera and plug it onto your laptop to take. Okay, because the F7, F8, that area there, if you take video, it's actually not so nice. It's a bit strange at the angle. Okay, yeah. Right. And the 3 is make sure you have clean audio environment. Just like what Johan was saying just now, in the kitchen, if they want to do kitchen demo, the exhaust fan, everything, all too noisy. So similarly, when you want to record your video, you also have to make sure that your environment is clean. Clean as in clear, no noise, you might need to put the fan away from you a little bit, or even turn it off, your aircon, all these sort of things you have to consider. Or maybe you have children at home, you might need to think of a corner or a space where your children won't disturb you. That's one of my biggest challenges during MCO when I had to take videos at home. I literally, had to either lock myself in the room or I lock my kids in the room. And that was when we cannot get out of the house, and when we could get out of the house already. So every time when I want to record video, I would tell my husband, please take these 2 fellas down. Go and get them downstairs. I don't care what they do. Walk, cycle, play with your ball, anything. Just don't disturb me. I need to be quiet, Because if not, after that, I had to do so much post-editing to cut out all the funny sound that they were making. I still remember there was one time I told them, I need to record. They were very quiet indeed. So they were so quiet, they were behind me, they were playing with Lego. But still the Lego, my video. I had to edit and cut out all the noise at the back. It was like really difficult for me to actually take videos at home. So you need to consider this kind of things, best is to use a lapel mic. Lapel mic is the one, the clip mic, the external mic. I'm not having it here, it's in my bag. So usually whenever I do any video recording, I have that lapel mic with me. One thing I have learned in my experience is, I'm not too sure about your computer, but my computer, this particular model, somehow whenever I plug in my mic also, it's very near to my fan, the built-in fan in my laptop. So it actually picks up that sound also, that fan. And I find it very irritating, and because of that, I always have to, go and do the clean up, cut out the noise and all. So I have no choice. I tried to buy another device to cut off the noise, but it doesn't seem to work. I'm not sure why also. So for me, usually I will record my voice on my phone, and then after that, I will do some post-editing work to put it together so that the audio is clear.
Dubbing.
Not exactly dubbing lah. It's just that when I press record here on my computer, I record on my phone also. Then I will need to go do some editing after that to just put it together lah. But if let's say if you don't have that problem, then you can just straight away record on your computer. Some of my colleagues, they don't have this problem. It's just that those who have this particular model of the laptop that have this problem. So that's just the extra work that I have to do. So you got to try it out on your own laptop and see how is it like for you, yeah? I wouldn't really suggest just talking like this, okay? Like this here on the computer, because sometimes I'm not sure about the quality of your mic built in, but it may not sound as crisp if you record here like this, okay? Right. So Bridget is suggesting crisp. It's a special app, is it, for what is it, Bridget?
It is a noise blocker. So even if you have your neighbors doing drilling and you have a class, it will block all noises. It only picks up your voice.
I see. Cool. Okay.
So it works with Teams. I'm not sure with other apps, and it's free. You can get it free, and all you need to do is introduce people in your organization who will also download it, and we all get it for a duration that is free. It's not like 30 days free and then after that you pay kind of thing. But you can also get the pricing one if you want.
I see. Okay.
So you can do that for your audio.
I'll try it out. Thank you, Bridget, for sharing.
Okay.
So Stephanie says I use iPad. My laptop is bad. We need to record using this app. Yeah, I think it's sort of like a plug-in thing. I think, Bridget, Stephanie, you might want to check with Bridget how it works, right? Okay. So if you don't have a lapel mic, I would suggest that you get one. So far my recommendation has always been Boya. It's the most affordable and I would say in a way cheap for the quality. Do you have? You actually have? You have one? You have one Boya one? Yeah. Do you have one? Because it has been given to the department. I have some in my room. If you all want, you can ask me. Okay, so now, looks like quite simple, right? The tactics and all. What's the hardest part? What's the hardest part of doing video?
Editing.
Editing.
Cut.
Today we do Prezi video, no need to cut so much.
Okay.
Yes?
Design the video, design the content.
Designing the content as in the color and the visual, or the as in what you want to put in as the information. The information, thinking about the information.
It's the because need to chunk it to a smaller part. So which one is suitable for the which template the Prezi suitable with which content that make the student more understand using the Prezi template.
Okay. So to you, that's the hardest part. Okay. Right? We have Ashara inserting other things like text or images. Johan said the starting of it. Yeah, always the first step is the hardest, right? But a lot of participants tell me it's about talking on the camera, or I don't know whether if we should say as talking to the camera. Is that difficult to you? Talking on the camera? Some people, they tell me, I stand in front of the camera, I cannot talk already. Blank, everything blank. Do you have that problem? If not, that would be awesome for this group. Do you have the problem? When you stand in front of the camera, you blank, don't know what to say.
So far, okay.
So far, no problem. No problem. Yeah. Richard said it has to be well scripted, but to be careful not to read from the script. Yeah. Yes, in a way. Sometimes it's good to have a script, but sometimes for some people, when they have the script, then they read, then become no engagement already, right? Some people are naturally camera friendly, some are just not. Yeah, some people are able to just stand on the stage and speak. Some, they literally stand and they just shake. Yeah, I had one friend like that before, in classroom only. She stand in front of the classroom, she completely turned pale. That kind of a stage fright. And then her hand completely all sweaty and wet until on the floor. That kind of a stage fright is true. Some people are born, they can stand and talk, no problem. Like Zamiro said, no problem, I can talk. Yeah. Some people are just stage fright. But those who are having this kind of fear, it can be trained. Okay, it can be trained. Yeah. Don't worry. You just have to take the first step and try. Okay, over time, I can guarantee you'll get better. Be wary of the timing. Yes, timing is also important. We will talk about the timing. How long can your video be or should be? Okay, so I'm just going to give you 5 simple tips. Just now we talk about tech tips, yeah? Now I'm going to give you 5 simple tips on creating engaging videos. So the first one is, like I said just now, those who have this fear of being on camera or standing, in front. But I believe all of us here are lecturers. We don't really have so much of the fear until so bad, like I shared with you about my friend. Yeah, I don't think we have that. If not, then we would have been suffering from this job, right? Okay, but I do understand. Yes, standing in front of the classroom, talking to your students, and standing in front of the camera is a different thing. Okay, as much as a fear that you have, you need to talk back to the fear. Yeah, don't be afraid of it. So like Stephanie says, practice makes perfect, correct? Yeah. Now, how do you overcome that fear? It is also tip number 2. Think about connecting with your students. Remember I said just now, when we do instructional videos, we are not Hollywood actors. We are not performing, we are not acting, not that sort of Hollywood acting. Okay? We want to connect with our students. Why we create the videos is so that we engage with the students, we share with them our knowledge, give them instruction. Okay? So it's not about performing, it's about connecting. So just be yourself. Be who you are, like how you are in the classroom. Use normal everyday language. No need to think about very difficult words, to make the video look more sophisticated. No need. Just talk like normal. Okay? Just try to think about connecting with your students. Okay? So in terms of whether you want to script it or not, it's really up to you. Right? But if you do script it, make sure that you are not reading it. If not, it will look like robot. Okay, then remember just now we talked about humanizing your course, then that part is again missing already. Okay, but sometimes just having some outline is also good enough. And that is actually the beauty of Prezi, because it helps you to outline what you want to present. Number 3, energize and elevate your energy. You got to be energetic. And because at the end of the day, your video is to inspire your student and motivate them to learn. So if you sound like that kind of thing, right? Then your student will also like and go to sleep, yeah. Okay, so you got to be energetic, yeah. Make sure that you make them feel motivated and inspired to learn from you. Okay. Number 4, keep it short and simple, bite size. Nobody likes to watch long videos because long videos won't work. So Go et al. In 2014, they did this research. And what they find is the median engagement of videos, yeah, is less than 6 minutes for 100%. That means students will watch everything if the videos is less than 6 minutes. Anything more than 6 minutes, the students won't really watch it. Switch off. Okay? I'm sure you all also experience it, right? Sometimes you go to YouTube, you find videos and all too long, then boring, don't want to watch that kind of thing. So try to keep your video short. Limit it to less than 6 minutes. I always try to keep my videos 3 to 4 minutes because to me that's the best optimal time. Okay? If it has to be more than that, I will try to break it into 2 parts of the week. Yeah? Okay. Last one. Relax. And just roll with mistakes. Never mind. It's okay. It's normal that sometimes we fumble, we say the wrong thing, and we just take it like, remember just now I said, like in your classroom. Sometimes we say the wrong thing and then we just like, say it again, right? So it's okay, never mind. Like I said, we are not making Hollywood movies. Okay, we are not making that kind of videos. This is about instructional videos. Mistakes, everybody makes mistakes. Yeah, and that is part of us being human beings. So it's okay, just relax and just continue talking. Don't have to like, oh, mistake, stop again. Mistake again, stop again. Sometimes like when only can finish that one video, right? Yeah, so it's okay if you have mistake, just move on. Just go on. Okay? All right. So okay, there's this quote by Andrew Khan here that says that so many people focus on I don't have the right gear, I don't have the right camera, but they don't really think about, well, what is my message? So this is also something that is quite common whenever I share with colleagues on making videos. They tell me, oh, my camera no good, my face not nice, my voice not good on the laptop, I got no money, I got this what you call mic not working well, everything about about all the things that is on the equipment and all. But at the end of the day, actually is our content that makes the most difference. Okay, and it's again going back to us, we as the instructor. Okay, yeah. All right. So just to wrap up what I've said here just now, remember it's about connecting, about energy. Okay, so energizing, bite-sized video. Okay. I know you want to deliver a hamburger to them. So many things you want to teach them, right? So many things. But think about making it a bite-sized burger. Big Mac, very big. But they cannot eat so much at one time, Cannot digest, okay? So you got to consider making a new burger, which is smaller. Still Big Mac, but it has to be smaller, yeah? And relax, yeah, relax, chill. Okay? so I've covered what makes a video engaging, and now we are going to move into Prezi video. So what I'm going to do now is to demonstrate to you what exactly is Prezi video. Has anybody tried it already? Has anybody tried Prezi video? No. So last time Prezi is just Prezi, okay? Then after that, when they have this new one, now they call it Prezi Next. Mine is written as Prezi video. Prezi Next. Then after that, from in the Prezi Next, they have Prezi video. They have Prezi Present. They have Prezi Design also. Okay, but what I will be covering is only Prezi video and Prezi Next. Sorry, Prezi video and Prezi Present. Okay, I won't be doing the Prezi Design part. Okay, so I'm going to switch a little bit now. Okay, yeah, let me get my mic. Are you in the Zoom? We are not. Can I suggest that you go to the Zoom? Because I want to show the Prezi video, and I show that I cannot use this. You have the link, right? Yeah. Give me 1 minute, yeah.
You want to join the link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my Prezi video with you. So when I do that, I cannot use the audio system here. Okay. Right. Can you all hear me clearly now? Can you all hear me? Can, yeah? Clear, yeah? Okay, because I've switched the audio to my own mic. Okay, good. Okay. Let me just open up this one. I just want to show you first what's the difference between what you see just now. So like I told you just now, I was as I was presenting just now, I was using Prezi also, right? But I wasn't using Prezi video. So right now, okay, right now what you see here is actually Prezi video. Okay, can you see me? So you see that my content is appearing in front of my face. But that's because the way I arranged the content for this particular one, I wasn't really arranging it to do it using Prezi video. But I just want to show you that what I presented just now was using Prezi, okay? But it wasn't Prezi video. This one now you see right in front of you, yeah, all the icons on my face is Prezi video. So basically, I can just like what you call interact with my content here. You know, I can be pointing to my student. Okay, look here. This is blended versus online facilitation. But of course, my background is a bit cluttered, so it's not so clear. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at video. You're okay. You're okay. 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 Look at video here. Okay. All right. Then I can point to my student. Okay, today we're going to do creating engaging instructional videos with Prezi. All right. Then I can also opt to not show my face. Yeah, I can turn it off as well. So now you don't see my face, right? But you see exactly my presentation as it was just now. Okay, I think you all can see better here, right? Okay, this is when you see my face. So then I can just go on and teach. You can still see my face at the back behind. Okay, I can be interacting with my students, telling my students, okay, first learning outcome is this, second learning outcome is this. Okay, these are our learning outcomes of today. Then this is our agenda for today, right? Then now I'd like you to scan this QR code here. So this is basically how it's like in Prezi video. Okay, you clear? So that's the difference, yeah? Okay, so I'm going to switch it off for a moment. Just give me one moment. Okay, let me just I think I just share my screen with you. Okay, can you all see my Prezi video screen? Can, right? Okay, so this is how it looks like in Prezi video, and of course this is the app. If you don't download the app, you can use Prezi video in the browser also. Okay, but I'm showing you the feature of it in the app. To me, the app is easier to use compared to the browser. It's just a little bit different only, yeah. So this is how it looks like. Okay, so it's similar to like PowerPoint. You have all the slides here. Can you see? On my right here, these are all the slides. No, no, the student cannot see this. The student will see like just now, this one is I'm sharing my screen. Just now earlier, right? I show that one is what the student see. The one where you see all the icon on my face, right? It's only that one. This one I'm showing you my screen as the instructor because I want to show the different buttons. Okay, all right. So your student don't see all these things, yeah? Just now, the earlier screen that I showed is what your students will see. Okay. All right. So this particular presentation is what I built through Prezi Presents, okay, which is something that we will do afterwards. But right now, I just want to show you what is Prezi video about. Okay, so it's actually a different thing. Okay, let me just open up again the Prezi video to start from the beginning. Okay, I'm going to share. I'm actually sharing my screen. Okay. All right. So this is the Prezi video app. Right. So when you open it, straight away you will see your camera here turn on like this. So just now I was showing you the on off thing is here where you sometimes can see my face, sometimes cannot see my face, right? Is this button here. Okay, what is the beauty of Prezi video? You can actually import your existing presentations. Okay, this is just within Prezi video. You can use your presentation from PowerPoint, from Google Slides, or even if you just want to show any images or videos or GIF files. So imagine, I believe all of you have your current content in PowerPoint, right? And I can just simply import from PowerPoint. So let's say, I take from PowerPoint, right? I add from computer. Let's try to find something. Okay, let's try to do this. I think I did this orientation that day. So that's the PowerPoint slide deck that I'm importing now. So you just give it some time. Can you see up here, importing presentation? Yeah. So you just give it some time. It's going to publish. Of course, if your file is big, it will take more time to publish it. Okay. Yep. Right. So you will see it appears at the side here afterwards. It's converting now. Right. Okay. So they will also ask you whether if you want to take all these slides into Prezi or you want to take selected slides. You can also choose selected slides. If I choose import all, it will take everything in. But you need to take note that when you take your slides from PowerPoint to Prezi here, you cannot edit like in PowerPoint anymore, yeah, because it takes it like a PDF file like that, okay? And the animation that you do in PowerPoint will not be here anymore also, okay? Because it imports it like PDF file like that. But your contents are all still there. So right now, you can see on my right here, I cannot make it like to the full screen because if not, I cannot see the button already also. Okay, so like I said just now, this one, the on off button, you see here, if I turn off my face, I want my students to just focus on my content. Okay, I want my students to see my face. I want to tell them, welcome to Pre-U Studies Academic Briefing. So I can do that, right? And then I can move the slides by pressing this button here. Why is it not moving? Something wrong. Never mind. I'll just click here. Okay. So then I can move through the slides one by one. So again, I can focus and then go back to this. Okay. And you can move through the slides like this. So this is from PowerPoint. Now, there are a few different templates that you can choose from. You click on these three little dots here. You see choose template. So this is the template. You can choose like this, or like this, or like this. Up to you, whichever design that you like. So this one will actually roll from left to right. Okay? Are you all right? Can follow, yeah? Okay, cool, right? So basically, if you have your content already in PowerPoint, you can also straight away use Prezi video. Okay, And it's really cool because you don't have to switch from sharing screen, you know, to no screen, and then here and there, and so many different windows that you have to click here and there. Sometimes share, sometimes cannot see, sometimes cannot see, you know, that kind of thing. So it's all inside here. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to record, it's very simple. Just click this here, the record button, and you see. So I can just click record now. Okay, and it says start recording. I click and starting. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that I can talk about. Okay, so this is the course structure for foundation in program. So if you look closely, you have semester 1, 2 courses to take, and then semester 2, you take 5 courses and blah, 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 blah. Once you have done, okay, you want to show the next slide. This is the academic calendar. And this calendar is from 2002 to 2003 and finish. Okay, done. Thank you very much. Done recording. Okay, done recording. Then you have it here already. You can also trim. Of course, usually sometimes the head and tail, you might need to trim it a little bit. You can actually trim it inside here also by clicking on this button. So this is just very simple editing that you can, you know, do. Of course, if you want the more sophisticated, then you do have to use another editing software. But this is just for you to cut the head and the tail, which is usually where you are starting, you click the button, that one you want to chop it off, or the end where you off the thing, then, you know, your face look elsewhere or your eyes look elsewhere, then you want to chop it off, then you can just easily trim it here. Once you're done trimming, you check.
This is the course structure.
You're happy with it, okay?
So
then after that, you can save.
So if you look closely, you have
save and
1,
share.
2 courses to take, and
So whether you want to upload to your Prezi account or not, you can do it. If not, you can just save it locally by pressing this download button and into your computer.
Is from 2002 to 2003 and finish.
Okay.
Okay, done. Thank you very much.
So I'm not going to save this. So far, okay or not? Yeah. The URL to share. No. Into your computer. The file will be in your computer already. If you want to get the URL, then maybe you need to put into SharePoint, and then from SharePoint you click share to get the share link. Okay, all right. But if I'm not wrong, I think this particular recording button, I think as in the saving the file locally, is only for the EduPlus upgraded account. Okay, because that day I think somebody tried using the free basic account. You can only upload into Prezi. You cannot download into the computer. Okay, all right, but you still have it. Okay, close anywhere. Okay. Any questions or not? Any questions so far? No questions? So far, okay, yeah? All right, good. So, now I'm just going to show you, don't save. Okay, I'm going to open another new one. Okay, say for example, if I want to start creating a simple presentation in Prezi video. So just now I showed you the first one earlier I shared with you is I told you the presentation that I was doing today is what I do in Prezi Present. Okay, Prezi Present is this one. Can you see this? Okay, so this is Prezi Present, right? So this is the one that I was using just now. So I created this particular slide deck inside Prezi Present, okay, which is different from Prezi Video. Prezi Video is this one. Okay, then I showed you how you can actually just import your slides from PowerPoint and then use it in Prezi Video. Yeah, okay. So two things. If you use Google Slide, it's the same thing, yeah. All right. Now I'm just going to show you how you can actually create a simple presentation inside Prezi here. Inside Prezi Video here. So you see a plus button here. You just click and you just type hello. Hello. Good morning. No, afternoon already. Afternoon. See, can you see the words appearing beside me? Right? Okay. Then after that, maybe I want to do another slide. I can also add pictures. Okay. The pictures can be added from your computer by clicking this button. Then you just move the picture here, or you add from whatever drive, your cloud drive here. Okay. Or you can just simply search for visual here. Lunch. It's lunch now, I know. Lunch. Lunch. Yummy food. Healthy lunch, right? Okay. I can even do another one. Those who attended my training last week, I used a lot of these stickers and all these GIF files. So you can also actually do this. Add lunch. Yeah, let's go for lunch. You can also add this. So basically you can just use all these things that are inside here, and there you have one presentation already. Similarly, if you want to change your template, you can also go and change your template. Okay? Are you all right? Simple to use, right? Stephanie, okay? Is it simple to use? So far, so good, yeah? Okay, good. So like I said, I'm just doing the demo with you now. Later we will have time to try it out and all, okay? Where afterwards, I'd like you to do some planning on a video that you like to create, okay? So far, so good. Any questions from the others? Any questions? Samira, okay? Okay? No, okay? The rest of you all okay? Okay, yeah? So it's 12:30 now. And as promised, we will break for lunch. So lunch, I hope you have a healthy lunch. Yeah. And we will come back at 1:30 and we will start using Prezi. So if you can, do download the app into your computer, but I know some colleagues in UG, you may not be able to install any apps into your computer. So it's okay. If you cannot install the app, never mind. You can use it on the browser. Okay, yeah. Okay, so if you have no questions, then we will break for lunch now, and I'll see you back at 1:30. Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy your lunch. I'll see you in a while.